Let's take this time to just get settled and open our hearts and minds for this day. Maybe reconnect with your intention. So you can welcome yourself fully to be here now, however you're sitting here. So whether you had a good night or a rough night, see if you can just welcome yourself to come as you are. Let's let out a few big sighs. Another one. See if you can fully step back and let Spirit lead the way for you. See if you can again just welcome that support, remembering you do not walk alone. Maybe even seeing as if you're holding Spirit's hand, or having angels all around you. Remembering how worthy you are of that support. Remembering that you cannot do it wrong. That a happy outcome is certain. So that we can afford ourselves to be happy learners. Not having to feel guilty for learning. See if you can soften your face a little bit, soften your eyebrows. See if your jaws are relaxed. You're exactly where you need to be, right here, right now. You don't have to know how and what and when. Let's leave that all up to the Spirit. So see if there's anything that is worrying you in this moment, or that's kind of blocking you from being fully present. And on another big exhale, let's just place that all into the hands of the Spirit. Let's hand it all over. Hand over this day. See if you can just welcome in the Spirit in your heart. Welcome His support, His guidance. Bit by bit, relaxing your shoulders a bit more. Maybe even sit back in your chair a bit more. Really letting in that Spirit got you. That Spirit got this day for you. That Spirit knows exactly where you're at and what is helpful for you. So see if you, even if you can't really feel that, see if you can find the willingness to really know that.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. So this is another day, another opportunity for opening our heart. And to come here, to arrive here, seemingly 16 people, and still feel open. See what the mind is doing with situations. So we just encourage you to feel really open and relaxed with staying within you. What are you feeling? How are you doing? And just really be okay with that. Because we have to see it to release it. We have to see what is in the mind to release it. Otherwise it will just disturb. It will be like static. So try to be, for a moment, just really open. Just connecting.
I can tell something, if you want. A deep, deep sadness arises. And I had to cry, because I have a family, and they are living in Argentina. And I didn't see my grandchild 5 years. So always I want to go there, but it's not possible. First time of COVID. And because of him, because I want to put him in a plane, never ever. And I was looking at him, And he's giving me so much. It's unbelievable. So much love. So much love. And I accept this. I put my thoughts to the Holy Spirit and said, okay, please take my sadness. Please take the sadness. And sometimes it helps. But sometimes the sadness is coming stronger than before.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this. Can you see this experience you're having? The belief in sacrifice runs through this experience. That you so much want to go to Argentina to see your grandchild, but you can't because this lovely creature needs you. You believe he needs you.
Yes.
So there is the conflict.
The conflict. Yes. Sometimes the desire to go is very strong. We exchange WhatsApp and messages, but they are telling Abuelo when you are coming. I cannot say I don't know. I can only say I don't know. I will come anyhow, but I cannot say how.
So I see something here.
Yes, I believe that someday I will go. He's 17 years old.
Well, you're not at the mercy of the circumstances here, James. There is something for you to see here. And this is a prime example of what we have to do in the mind. You have to give him to the Holy Spirit. He seems to be the obstacle. You love him so much, but yet, he's an obstacle for you to see your grandchild.
Yes.
So this is the calling, to give him over to Holy Spirit. And then take your hands off the steering wheel. Because how this idea of sacrifice is going to be undone, you need to leave to Spirit. But it's going to need to be undone. This belief is not helpful. And for all of us to see the belief in sacrifice is very, very, very crucial for our joy, for our peace of mind.
Yeah.
And it can seem like, if you have read in the Manual for Teachers, Development of Trust, Jesus speaks very clearly about this belief in sacrifice and how you think you must sacrifice what you love the most on behalf of truth. Now, neither the dog or the grandchild is the truth. There are characters in the dream. But with guidance, you're called a certain direction, and you want to get clear. You don't want to wait for him to die until...
No.
That's kind of a sad thought. Yeah,
Never ever.
Mm-hmm. But I could see that thought could perhaps
that
come in.
Up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read something. So this is what Jesus says. Be not content with future happiness. It has no meaning and is not your just reward. We could take this line and we could become enlightened just from this line. Be not content with future happiness. It has no meaning and it is not your just reward. We think we're worthy of some happiness coming to us in the future. He says, be not content with that idea, for you have cause for freedom now. What profits freedom in a prisoner's form? Why should deliverance be disguised as death? Because he can say this because he knows that time equals death. The belief in time equals death. Because future has not yet happened. We shared with Basha this morning that she has no future. He's saying delay is senseless, and their reasoning, in quote, that would maintain effects of present cause must be delayed until a future time is merely a denial of the fact that consequence and cause must come as one. This is kind of a core teaching here, you know. There is a fear of awakening in the mind, and then there is this little story going on. I really want to see my grandchild. I love my child and my grandchild. I really want to be with them. And then there is this sacrifice, because you love this being too.
Yeah.
And you know he needs you, and this conflict.
Yeah. I understand this. And I try also to overcome this, let's say, to overcome and not to do a judgment about this. To judge it, I cannot go, it's bad for me, he's there, it's bad for me, I cannot do it. I always put this to the spirit and say, okay, please take me, my thoughts, which are not the truth.
Yeah.
The two thoughts.
Yeah. Did you hear my story when you were right here on Friday? You know, I gave over my son to Holy Spirit to say, show me
That's right.
What to do. I want to follow my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And because I realized I'm not here to play God.
Pardon?
I'm not here to play God.
Yeah.
To pretend I'm God. It would be if I think that I'm the only one to care for my son, when my guidance is, you know, to take another step. You know, for many people, the guidance is to stay. For most people, or maybe all people, the guidance is to stay with their children, care for them. That's the, you know, that's the lesson. That's the forgiveness path. You know. But I was told, you're ready to lay aside the role, to not play the role anymore. So for me, that was it. And I saw that I was playing God if I thought I was the one to care for him. So I think if you give over him, what is his name?
Ale.
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 Mm-hmm.
Like ginger ale.
Okay, Ale. If you give over Ale to Spirit and really ask, you know, perhaps someone else will care for him while I go to Argentina. Can you show me how that will work out? You know? Because there's a lesson here to learn, and you won't really learn it if you just wait until he passes, or, you know, till something happens. So I'm really grateful you lift up this issue, because it's a good example of how we often live. We live our lives so attached and so afraid of taking a step and so dependent on people or pets or circumstances that we don't realize that there comes a point we just must follow our heart to break free of this. If we wait for circumstances to change, or even for someone to die, or, you know, for us to be able to live, that doesn't make sense, you know. It's what I was reading too about cause and effect. Like cause and effect are in one place. This is deep. I don't really, you know, want to try to explain it with words, because it's more about an experience of finding that there is no sacrifice. The cause and effect are in one place, not separated off.
Yeah, on one hand, I can take it when I have the, let's say, feeling not attached to nothing, let's say, in these words. I'm free. I feel the freedom.
Yeah.
And then it comes back, the attachment to the grandchild or to everything, whatever, don't care. And then I feel like in a prison, let's say, in a prison. Yeah, but it's only the prison of my thinking. Yeah. I know also. My prison in my thoughts. And okay, I can paint the prison inside. I can make it fine. But this is not the way.
No.
I know from my understanding.
And this is it. This is everyone's lesson.
Yeah.
You know, because this idea that something should be different for me to be happy.
Yeah.
That's the biggest trick in the world.
Yeah.
Something needs to be different for me to be happy. The ego hides in that.
Yeah.
It produces time. It produces littleness, limitation. And it's a trick. And if we can, in the moment when we feel this limitation, if we can question it, put it on the altar even, you know, then forgiveness happens. Something shouldn't be different for me to be happy. This very moment is the key to happiness. This very moment holds the key. And it's beautiful how much you love your grandchild. When you see this little child and be with them. You know, and that love is extended right here, right now. And not just to him or her. Him or her. Is it a boy or a girl?
Both.
Doesn't matter. It's a child.
A boy, a girl, a boy.
Oh, it's both. Okay.
So it's Emma and Joan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them both.
Yeah.
Because I think the boy is an incarnation of me. Sorry.
Already. Soul split.
He's, I think he's behaving like me when I was 5, 6, 7 years old.
Sweet.
So when I look at him, I look in my face. It's unbelievable. And the lady, Emma, is she is so gentle, so much love from her. And I remember when I was there last time and we played with the balloons of air, and she was always bringing the balloons to me, and then we put the balloons in the room, and it was unbelievable. And she's always coming to me and saying, "Abuelo, come, abuelo, abuelo, come." And it's fantastic. I love it, and I love the place to live there because it's like here. It's in the tropical forest. It's quiet. It's nothing. That's why I love this place also. This is so quiet and it's comparable.
But can you see how you keep yourself a bit trapped with this idea that you would love to be there, but you can't? You know, you keep your mind very trapped, very limited, and it's sad. It feels a bit sad.
Sad. Yeah.
Sadness. Yeah.
And I also, from the understanding of the Holy Spirit and the work of forgiveness, I think I understand that I'm not the sadness. That's not me. I can also intellectually maybe understand this, but sometimes to feel it it's another thing. But I know I'm not the sadness. I'm not the frustration. I think I know from my perception and my understanding of the teaching of the Course.
Yeah, you know, the ego believes that love ends, that love is temporary too. And so you had those moments with the children, it was beautiful, and you think that was in the past, and you want to return to it, but that event is over, you know. That love is temporary and love ends. Somehow, that's a very sad belief. And the ego thinks that sadness is status quo or the default state. And the highlights or the glimpses of reality are short-lived. And then the world closes over them, and we have to strive again. But we can see it as just a time for mind training, the time for healing, time for release. We don't have to be militant and harsh about this, but to really take the opportunity for what you're doing. You're looking at this whole.
And maybe one more aspect of this situation is I like to look at podcasts related to near-death experiences. It's a channel, Next Level Soul, and the guys interviewing a lot of people that have out-of-body experiences and also near-death experience. And when I listen to this and see that there is only love independent of our story, that helps me myself. This helps me a lot. It helps a lot, because there was a situation, a guy made an accident and lost his two childs by the end, one child and a mother. And God came to him. You did not do any mistake. No mistake. No mistake. He took him in his hands. He took him in his hands and said, everything is fine, independently of what happened.
This is why it should be called near-life experience.
It's so helpful.
It's really not that, when God comes, or when people have those very wonderful experiences of what is real and what is not real. It's a near-life experience, and it's encouraging, And this is, we're called beyond form, we're called beyond distance, and to experience love now. Argentina is no distance for the Holy Spirit.
This is my greatest desire, to dematerialize here and to materialize over there. Then you don't need any material, you don't need any...
You need an airplane, you don't need to book a ticket. But to do that, you're going to have to put ale on the altar, you're going to have to release your guilt,
Yeah, okay.
That's how you do that. That's the first step in teleportation.
Yeah, thank you.
If you want to let go of the world, you have to let go of the world.
Yeah. Yes, I understand completely what you are saying, because there exists no material matter. There is no matter. I understand. There is no matter. The form is collapsing by the waves we have before. And now it's collapsing. Okay.
Yeah. And the way, because, a part of you gets that.
Yeah.
But the way that you become that is to raise up these sore spots in the mind. To raise up where there's guilt, where there's hurt.
Yeah. That's true. The sadness hurts. Exactly what you are saying. That hurts.
Yeah, and it's like if you have a closed hand around the sadness, it's not going to shift, it's not going to open. But as you open your hand, then it can start to heal and clear.
Okay.
I just have this experience too with the dog that you have, and anything that we have that is our responsibility. They are a gorgeous gift. He's a gorgeous gift for you forgiving him being an obstacle in your life. If you have kids, if you have a person that you feel you owe something, you owe them your time, you owe them your life. Maybe that's the belief, No, you don't.
Yes, I know.
But they are a gift in the sense. I see this. You know what inversion is? When you invert something, like you need to invert them. That's the forgiveness. You need to release them from that role you have put them in, to be free yourself. And they are only there for that lesson. They are not there for your guilt, to feel like you owe them your whole life, your whole time, They are not a problem, because you're going to be mad at times. You're going to be angry at them for being in the way. You're going to hate at times, because that's the specialness in the mind. But they are not the problem. The problem is in your mind, specialness in your mind. That's what needs to be put on the altar.
Yeah.
He's there for that only, So the calling is to release those special beings. Course in Miracles has 9 chapters on special relationships. 9. That's actually the most part, or almost the most part of the book. It's about releasing this specialness in the mind, this sticky ego. The ego is the specialness. The little I that has this set of plethora of little me needs and who I am and what I should have, and it's in the way. Let's put it on the garbage and clear, and then, because what is true love? What is true love? This is a question we want to ask. Like, I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. That's a beautiful song, Yeah, let that burning desire to know what love is burn away the specialness in the mind. Release the beings that have been held prisoners by the role. Even a son, even a child. I played that role. I was such a good mother, and then I made some mistakes too. But that was my self-concept. I thought I was pretty good, But the self-concept can be bad mother too. I'm a bad mother. And at times I think I had that too. But the specialness has those ideas about us. Or being a handsome guy, or a beautiful girl, or good at something. I'm good at cooking, I'm good at, or I'm good at caring for people. I make people feel comfortable. I make people feel free and at home. Whatever self-concept is saying, it's still a self-concept that we have been clinging to for littleness. We want to put it on the garbage. We want to know what love is, and it's not always pretty. It's not looking nice to have the prayer, I want to know what love is. Because we are addicts to those, mostly to special relationships, and that's why it sometimes doesn't look pretty in the world's eyes. The world may judge you. Like for me, this little village I came from, I felt as if everybody was staring at me when I made my decision to exit. the place. It felt like they thought, she is a terrible mom. How can she do that? That is awful. But these were actually my own thoughts about me. These were my guilty secrets that I needed to face and release. And I did. You know, and I got back there one day and I saw that people smiled at me. And, you know, I had faced the guilt. I didn't see the reflections of guilt anymore. So these ideas that people have judgments, like, or leaving a job and they would think she's crazy, she's, you know, entering a cult, or she's, you know, the beliefs, they are in our own mind. They are only in our own mind. And we will release the whole world by doing this work. And until then, we keep those special relationships prisoners, actually. Even if it seems like they need us. It's not the case. We needed them first. We thought we needed to act out this role, to be somebody. Have you seen the movie Passengers? Some of you have, because I've shown it to you a few times. There are two movies, but the one with the plane crash, the woman has a strong self-concept. She's a good therapist, a really good therapist. She has group therapy with people who have been traumatized by a plane crash. And she's gathering them, she's caring for them, and some of them are lost. They wander around and she's trying to bring them in to the group. One guy refuses to go in therapy. He says, I can talk to you if you come home to me, you know, but I'm not going to therapy. And she said, okay, I'll come. I make home visits, you know, and then this love started growing, and it started to become a holy relationship, but actually not until she sees that she's not who she thought she was. Then the holy relationship, boom, like flourish at the end of the movie, because she realizes she wasn't even really there. She was one of the ones who died in the plane crash. And she, in her dream, she played out that she wasn't. She was this person, and this is exactly what we're doing here. We're basically dead. We're dreaming a dream that we are this little person, you know, walking around having this little life, managing. But not until we realize that this is not who we are. We're not here to act this role. It's not forbidden, but it's also not joy. It's not real joy, lasting joy. It's temporary, you know, temporary joy. But this is also, the awakening is gentle. The Holy Spirit lets you have a role, you know. He says you're going to have many roles. You're going to wear many, you're going to wear many roles on the way to awakening until you see that nothing is needed, really. You know, a miracle worker can be one role, you know, that you will play. That's what the Course is using, the word miracle worker, which is, it's a healer, but it is because you're a forgiveness. You become an expert on forgiveness. That's how you become a miracle worker.
How's your relationship with your son now? Like, are you still in touch, or how did that shift?
Yeah, it shifted. It shifted over time. When he was 11 or 12 years old, I spent some time with him in Sweden, and I shared with him some deep ideas. I actually told him, you know, the world reflects your thoughts. If you have something in your mind, you're actually going to feel like it's out there in the world. And he was like, really? He was really taking it in, That was so sweet. And then I was apart from him again. And during those periods, I had a lot of guilt to face for years. It took some years. And there were calls and visits. And the visits were sometimes excruciating, like painful, because I felt like I had so short time. And I want to give him everything, and it was, but it was still guilt-based when I had those feelings. I had to still clear my guilt and work through it even more. And I really worked with the lessons of the Course. They're so helpful. And I was really clinging to them. I was really using them. And then there came a point when he was 17, when I thought, well, I can just ask him how he feels about this whole thing, and until then I had too much guilt to even talk to him about it. But at that point I was like, yeah, I can just talk to him about it. This is about 10 years ago. So I called him. I said, how do you feel? Do you feel like I abandoned you? And he said, it has been difficult, but he said, I knew you had to do this.
And how old was you?
17.
Oh.
Yeah. So I knew you had to. You couldn't stay here. You couldn't possibly stay here, he said.
The Holy Spirit told him.
Mm-hmm. The Holy Spirit came through him quite a few times during this. It was one time when he was only 10 or 11 in the beginning, when I left the second time. I heard in my mind, I'm going to leave on January 10th. And I was with him, and he said, Mom, why don't you stay with me? Can you stay a little bit longer? And my heart just broke, and I just said, yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to book my tickets on the 24th of January instead. And I tried, and it wouldn't go through. It wouldn't work. And I was like, I was in prayer. I said, what do I say to him? And the Holy Spirit said, just tell him as it is. So I went to him. I said, Victor, I have guidance. I have heard within that I'm meant to go on the 10th. This is the plan. So I think we both have to trust it. Said to him. And then I said to him, he was laying, because at that time I stayed with my parents. He was on the floor, a mattress in my room. He took his pillow and he just buried his head, and this deep, deep, deep laughter came through from the core, deep within. And he looked up and said, I don't know why I'm laughing. And I said, I know. I felt it. It was the Spirit. Just, he could feel that I was just in that moment following. So I did leave on the 10th. But there was still tears. There was still, he was still sad, and I was still sad. And now it's beautiful. It's not that we have frequent contact. Sometimes we have been in contact. We were there in March. Barret and I were there. We had profound time with him and his girlfriend. Very sweet. He asked tons of questions and just wanted to join. Yeah. But it's not on the level of a mother role. Like I released him, and he's super confident and feeling. I can feel he feels a lot of love for the world. Like he feels a lot of strength. So it might be a reflection of, when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. And I saw that many times with him. Even when it was most difficult in the beginning, I saw that. He healed a deep anxiety issue that he had. He was anxious going in people's cars and going on the school bus. He had some anxiety around that. And one day he called me and said, Mom, I don't have a problem now. This was about 2 months after I left. I don't have an issue with going on the school bus. I love meeting my friends there. So, yeah. So sometimes we have too much self-importance. We think we're so important for those special relationships, and we take the responsibility for them. But they're only here to be released from our hook, from our dependency. Okay, do we have any other expressions here?
Yeah, I'd like to share. I just noticed some emotion come up. I think it was when James was sharing. I just
Yeah, you can breathe with this. Allow this.
Yeah, I can see how it relates totally to like what first I wrote. Oh God, I can barely talk. Yeah, I think that's it. I just needed to express that.
It's good.
Yeah, I feel that tiredness again. Just
Maybe there's another layer here.
And was there a thought?
yeah.
What was the thought?
What?
What was the thought
When it started,
when he shared? Yeah.
it was a sudden discomfort. I just realised I'm right in front of you two, right in front of the speakers. There's people there, there's people to my left, people behind me. I just felt, oh my God, this is too much. But then I thought, when did this start? You know, it must have came with a thought. You know, I've learned that much. And then I just thought what James, you know, grandfather, you know, I just thought, I don't know, I was reminded he was a nice grandfather, you know. Grandchildren love him. It feels better now.
Where do you feel this in your body?
In my stomach. It does seem to have dissipated now somewhat. Just feel a little exhausted now. Yeah, I think I feel just some emotion, I think, still there, but I think I feel alright.
You no longer feel closed in.
There's some emotion, you know, like I'm just crying there. Yeah, but not so much, like, yeah, yeah.
Just be caring to yourself.
Yeah.
Just
That's what I feel.
really hold your heart, your stomach. Just
I notice I feel self-conscious as well. Like it's like, you know, I know there's a lot of people listening, and so it's kind of like a performance comes in, like a thought of, you know, I lose touch with it a little bit too, you know, like the...
You're not here to tell people, to share
Yes, yeah,
with people.
get caught in that.
Yeah, this is what you can release. Release the situation and just allow the feeling.
Yeah, all I feel now is just emotional tiredness. But there's emotion there, a little bit of emotion there too. Yeah, that's it. But this feels nice.
But what do you want to tell?
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Yeah, without even doing that, how do you feel now? Just in this moment.
I feel constricted now. My body is contracted a bit.
So again, this is an opportunity to say to him something. You don't have to, but this is an opportunity.
Yeah, it's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's what came to me yesterday when I was going through, you know, the other emotions. I could feel like I went through the anger and all, but I remember having a thought, and that emotion, you know, the pain was with it. Just why, you know.
You're doing great.
It's not there now.
It's okay. Let's just keep breathing with this, because the feelings are here. I just want to say, you know, however far this exercise goes, this is healing.
Right.
There's a lot coming up. There's a lot unwinding.
Thank you, because it's the idea comes in. I'm not doing this right, and then I kind of want to try and do it, you know.
Yeah, there's no need to push.
Yeah, but I don't think I can. I just feel more emotional exhaustion than anything. But I feel it was helpful. Yeah, I don't even need to say that.
I think you're just feeling the heavy blanket of what you have experienced in this seeming dream.
Yeah.
It's like a heavy blanket, and it's scary to look at it.
Yeah.
But I agree, you're looking at it. It's okay.
Yeah. And when I think of him, I think of the trauma sometimes. I just can feel the trauma in the body. Just the desire to get away from people.
Yeah. So see that fear. We can be with that fear. It makes you want to run away from people. Beautiful. this is how we know it's some trauma from the past, some memory. There's really nothing happening now.
Yeah, and I can Spirit, it's amazing how he orchestrates things. Like, I want to always sit away from people, and I was sitting there, but then the two guys sat here, and then they had the two dogs. Then I realised, shit, I can't put my recorder there. So then I thought, okay, I'll sit there and put my recorder there. But then Marina wanted to sit beside James, so then I had to sit here. So it's like Spirit's always getting me to face, you know, to face the stuff. Face my fears. So, I'm grateful for it, because I want the healing, and this is how the healing is happening. So yeah, I'm grateful.
Very good. And just take a deep breath. And how do you feel now from a scale from 1 to 10, around sitting right there with people around you?
It sort of cleared when I realised it didn't start with the thought. It started with, I related back to what, and once that was clear in my mind, I didn't so much have a problem being here, sitting here.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because it's not the cause, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. So that felt nice.
Mm. That helps.
Yeah.
And even with those, trauma memories, I think, with trauma memories, if you have clear memories or if you don't have clear memories, it's also an opportunity to also feel that you're not a victim.
Mm.
And you weren't really.
Yeah, thank you for saying this. Because that gets me sometimes, victim of trauma, victim of abuse. Just that idea can sometimes creep in, and I feel like it really, I feel like I was wronged.
It feels, I'm the first one to agree.
Yeah.
It can feel that way. But to remember, that you're not, and there is a mind behind it all.
Yeah, it's powerful to remember that.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing and going through it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, and Jonas also raised his hand.
I just had a thought.
Okay.
Or
Can I tell?
But first she wanted to share when Matthias.
yeah.
You will help me to translate. Es passt sehr gut zu dem, was gesagt hat.
It's connected to what he's telling.
Because of changing the chairs, my process, because of you and you, was I was sitting here, he was sitting there. No, genau.
At the beginning?
No, at the beginning.
At the beginning. At the
So,
beginning.
and then you come here, and I was sitting there, and you here. I was so. No. It's really. It's all my. Alle meine. Du übersiehst mich. All das kam gerade so
Okay.
hoch.
Everything came up, arises, I don't see her.
Hat mir versprochen, mir zu helfen.
I promised her to help her in terms of translation.
Yes. Und jetzt geht es so einfach darüber und
And I
gar
only
nicht
moved here without seeing her.
Yeah.
In a second.
Ganz in einer Sekunde.
Second.
Und dann habe ich gesagt, das ist jetzt, it's my challenge to transform. Now jetzt do it, Holy Spirit, please help me not to push him.
Yes. You felt abandoned by him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh Gott. Und es hat funktioniert.
It helped.
It helped.
To
Yes, thank you for sharing. Thank you.
zu erzählen für deinen Gottfried.
Nee,
I like how you said that. Thank you for sharing.
Danke fürs Verteilen.
Yeah, last one. In the last seminar we had, wir saßen auch zusammen.
In the last retreat we had together with a German teacher.
Aber a German teacher.
The German
yes.
teacher.
And es ging Mikrofon. Jeder, wenn er was sagen wollte, hatte er
It
ein
was around
Mikro.
about 40 participants, and the microphone went from one to another to talk.
Yes. James began to talk something und sollte es weiterreichen an
And
jemand anders.
I was first talking, and then I have to pass it, the microphone.
Yes. Er gab es aber nicht zu mir, sondern in die andere Reihe.
So I didn't give it to her, and so it moved 40 people around until it came back to her.
Forgiveness lesson.
It was the same problem
Same
for
problem.
me, yeah,
The same
like
situation.
today. But today it's a little bit smaller, and I hope it's finished.
That's good. Thank you. Thanks for facing that belief in abandonment.
No, I have to laugh about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good for me. I'm not sad. I have to laugh.
It's great.
It looks like ridiculous, but it's not for me.
No, yeah. This is it. This is how you hear. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you can laugh at it. We laugh the ego away and it's gone.
It's interesting you say that, because I think I'm getting more used to the Holy Spirit's voice within me, because when Matthew was sat there, I was going to say to Matthew, how come you sat there again? and that's what he said to me, and it got me, but then you moved around. So I think something was going to ask you, why do you want to sit there again? But I didn't say it, but I think I've got to trust that intuition more, because sometimes I can't say that. So yeah, I feel like the intuition more is coming through, just to say things, whereas I trust that.
Okay, now we can hear what you
Yeah,
have.
when we were talking, and I was reflecting all, let's say what we are talking about, one lesson appeared to me, and I think this was so helpful. The lesson was, I put the future in God's hand, and I did it. I put him in God's hand. So, and also everything, I've put everything in God's hand, and everything will be fine.
That's beautiful. Woo. Ale is in God's hands.
This came up.
That's very safe.
You mean the dog, right? That's not ale.
Yeah, he's
Is
ale.
that ale?
Ale.
Oh, I understood that your grandchild was ale. Okay.
It's ale.
Hey, we're talking about you.
So we can just come back to presence again. Okay, just take a deep breath again and Come back, release the shares, release the last things that's been on your mind. Releasing the thinkers here. We're going to become beers. Okay, do we have any other shares?
Yeah, I think there's this thought in my mind, like I don't understand exactly when, for example, we talk about to allow ourselves to feel what is there and express that. And you know, I learned that to express is sometimes it's through the body, because it seems like where is my point where I am now, for example, and yeah, but the freedom comes from the mind, and yeah, yesterday I felt confused and I don't know exactly what it was, but I felt to stand up, and sometimes I feel too much energy in my body. I don't know what it is. I'm just trying to find words to express, but I also, what is it come from? What is that? You know, just wanna get up, or just wanna stand up, just wanna shout, but I don't wanna shout now. I'm just getting this example here, because I have all this thought like, but what is helpful for everyone, including myself, like, wow, how can I express myself? Or
So it feels like it's not here now. You're theorizing about, you want some kind of formula about
no, I don't think so. It's more,
is there emotional now? Or do you have some?
I have something here, and I can feel, I don't know, yeah, maybe I can just stop and see that, yeah, I don't know, just some uncomfortable feeling coming through here, and sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just feeling too, why I feel so wrong. I don't know, and it feels like I never know what to do. If doesn't matter what I do, I'm gonna feel wrong. And this example came to my mind first, and if I keep sit down, I'm gonna feel wrong. If I get up, stand up, I'm gonna feel wrong. Just this feeling of being so wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is kind of also anger for not being able to discern, like, oh, express yourself, allow your emotion, but no, don't do this, don't do that. So
You're allowing it beautifully now. And the belief in being wrong is part of the deception of thinking you are Vanessa, thinking you are in this world. The wrongness. It's like wrong, you know that. But it's just the ego's judgment and making you little, the doubt, self-doubt. And then you have those beautiful experiences when you are right-minded, when you are in the miracle, you know. And those will grow, those will become more frequent. But this self-doubt, we look at it, just look straight at this self-doubt, this wrongness belief. And it's the ego that judges, says, no, that was wrong. You shouldn't have stood up. Or that, the ego points out form. The ego it's very paralyzed in form. It's staring at form all the time, right and wrong form. Spirit doesn't even see form. Spirit is. And sometimes we get lost. Jesus, he helps. He says, freedom of the body or freedom of the mind. Which one do you want? You cannot have both. And I think we get lost sometimes. We think we want the freedom of the body and that's going to help our mind, But literally, the freedom of the mind is available much quicker without changing form. He says, try not to change the form, try not to change the world, try rather to change your mind about the world. What is it that makes you feel uncomfortable, That's what we need to ask. What's the belief? What do I need to forgive? You just did it. You don't have to go back into analyzing it. But it's always about form or content. And we often get lost in form. We often just get preoccupied with what is the right form. What should I do? But it's fear-based because it avoids present joining. There's so much fear of present joining. So the mind gets preoccupied with form. What should I do? Thank you. You feel better now, yeah?
Yeah, I feel better now. I'm really happy.
Anybody else?
I have a question. I feel drawn to ask you about your relationship, if you would be willing to share.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really want to know? Probably because we're talking about specialness.
Mm-hmm.
So how is specialness showing up for you, and how do you work with it in the context of what we are doing here, and you're working with other people as well?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, one of the lines in the Course is like, Jesus says this, the only problem with your holy relationship is that it still has specialness in it, And yeah, there's maybe specialness that we work through. We talk a lot about what's going on in our thoughts.
We pray for help. We pray for help as needed. But we have a great degree of trust in one another.
Yeah, very deep. In the beginning of our relationship, we didn't call each other by name because that felt very, very strange. It felt, this is not two humans, really. Actually, that's what it felt like. I couldn't call him by his name. They kind of came in gradually more and more.
Yeah, maybe the first year or so, we hardly used each other's names. It felt wrong. because that's not, she's not Jenny.
He's not Barret.
I would say, like, when there is some specialness to clear, we do the same thing. We do what we're doing in a group, in our group of two. It's just being present and being open and doing our best to reveal and expose and not take if the other person is going through a little something, to not kind of believe in it. I'm sorry to tell you all, but everything you've been telling us, we don't believe. We don't really believe any of it.
So, more rubbish then.
That's it, let it out. Yeah, that's it. And Jesus says the one that is clearest in the situation, let him take the lead, and that often happens. We still go through some stuff sometimes, some healing, and if it's him going through it, I say, no, this is what we do, and this is, we're going through this, and let's just be with it. Or if it's me going through something, he takes the lead. He says, no, this is guided, So
when you say clear, do you mean the one who has more of a connection with spirit in the moment?
In the moment,
and it's not
yeah.
overtaken by the ego pattern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of pattern. It's a lot of clearing for all of us, from the past. We bring a little backpack of the past, and we want to. And even though we have released so much, the two of us, we have released so much, but sometimes there's still more. And for me, it feels quite vague, in some way. It's, I don't know. It literally feels like there has been layers that have been removed. So it's a little more strange to look at the past now. And I often get an experience of, I think Spirit wants to reinforce the truth all the time. So like what I shared about the prayer I had to see my dad, because he didn't treat me so well. He wasn't a wise being in my experience, in my perception. So I wanted God to show me him, to show me all his faults. I shared about that. And God just showed me light. He is light. And that was feeling so good. I said, okay, it's really nothing to fix. And I think when we have childhood trauma or past life trauma or something, we are hooked in it somehow. There's the insomnia, PTSD, nervous, there can be those. But as I ask Spirit, I always just get light. And even for Matthew, when he shared about his trauma here, and often when someone shares, the person they share about comes to me, and they're just coming in the light. So in that sense, I feel that the past is more. It's not like solid, like way back. I just felt like my parents were too They had power over me somehow. They had some kind of. I was dependent on them. Their opinions were like pushing me down. It was like heavy. Awful feeling. But as I took my steps spiritually, they started to shrink. And I even, in my meditations, I saw them shrinking into too little in the horizon, too little creatures, like so, and that was just a symbol of me healing from the past. But I agree with, like Jesus says, that ideas you've learned in the past are very hard to overcome or hard to undo, because it's rooted in time and you believe in time. So it is, but yeah, it is, we bring it with us. I think we bring it with us pretty much all the way until we're completely free, until we're completely self-realized. We bring some aspects with us, but Spirit will start to use them. Spirit will start to use the personality and what we come with. It will be like cleansed in light. And I've seen, through the years, because I was considering how does this work? It's one mind, but it seems like a mess with, relationships, parents, and who we are. And so through the years, I've felt like in my persona, my parents have been coming through sometimes, especially when it's the lower feelings, like self-hatred or a certain way they are, and then I kind of feel it as if it is in my field or something, and so I think that is also there just for forgiveness, just to see the self-hatred, to see that, to lift it up, So I think persona, a specialness, which is what persona is, has one. Usually you have some good aspects that you like about yourself, and then you have some things you dislike about yourself. And for me, it's been a lot of dislike around those aspects. So, and it's littleness. I think that's how it's been for me. So if we have something that's coming up, it could be, the past experiences I've had with my parents that are still in my system somehow. And Barret is very patient and loving and just doesn't buy into it. He doesn't see me the way I saw me. And I think for like Marina just came out of an abusive marriage. And she still has not divorced, but I think this shrinking can be helpful for you. Like maybe your husband has been this giant energy that seemed to have some power over you, that you were afraid, but you can see, you can allow the image of him just shrink. The word shrink? Minimize. Listen. Yeah, so that you can get some space to know what your next step is, to feel safe,
There is a follow-up question. The follow-up question, I think it's about, how, especially if you have had negative, patterns or experiences in relationships, abusive relationships, I think that how do you then keep your heart open? Knowing that there will be, if you work with spirit, there will be those given to you who are for the healing, and it may be, I think someone was talking about it yesterday, it may be challenging when that happens.
It is. It can be very challenging.
And there is something there, well, certainly what I see in myself, that I just shut down.
Yeah.
some years ago now, after that last relationship that I had, which was abusive. And I just said, no, I'm done with relationships. That's it. And yet there is this yearning
Desire,
for it, and I know it's deeper. You know, it's not ultimately about a man, a person. You know, I don't even know whether it's a man or a woman, but I think ultimately it's this kind of sense of coming together, merging, you know, rather than separating. So it ultimately leads to the separation with God. And this desire that Matthew was talking about, just hiding. You know, it's too much, people are too much. So how do you work with that?
Yeah. That's where it can be very nurturing to be with somebody who doesn't buy into it. And if you want to hide, they may not let you. You know.
Why are you laughing?
Because I just feel like you don't let me hide.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is no hiding here.
No.
That's very clear to me.
Yeah.
After 1 week.
Yeah. I often hear someone's name, and then I have to go and fish them out of something.
They're okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've done it several times with me, so yeah, I know. And even I have felt that guidance, but obviously I kept hiding. It was just like, no, you need to go out. No, I'm going to hide. And then your text arriving, I feel it would be better if you actually came out. I was like, oh, fuck. So I'm actually hearing the guidance, I just don't want to listen to it.
That's a good point, to see that. Yeah. Yeah. Because the sooner we start to listen, the better we'll feel. You know, the guidance is there for your healing. And it is often like that. Get out of your hiding place. You know, the guidance often encourages that.
And I think, does it say somewhere in the course that you have to go to the places that you don't want to go to, because that's where the greatest healing is?
Yeah. The ego hides in the last place you would ever look. That's why also in these sessions it is so helpful to bring it up, to share what you would rather keep private, or what the ego says you should shut up about, you know. Put it out there. You want to go ahead?
Just came a story, a little story. It was a very young child, and it appeared at a healing session. But it was very small, because there was not kind of abused. But I found afterwards myself abused, because it was very stupid. You know, I was a young boy. I was playing in the neighborhood, and there was a guy from the caretaker from the surroundings. You know, I don't know the word, maintenance. And at a certain moment he said, "Oh, do you want the ice cream?" Eh? Oh yeah, why not? So I'm having an ice cream there, and then, oh yeah, we come often. So I came there a couple of times, and at a certain moment he said, "Oh, can I make a picture of you?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" So he made a picture of me, and then I came home, and I told to my parents, to my mother, I said, "Yeah, so it was so nice guy at the working area, and he gave me an ice cream, and he made a picture of me, and it was amazing. He was very kind." Then my parents, "You never go there. It could be that he will abuse you, and blah blah blah. You never do that." And they tear the photo, you know, And then I was so crying, and it was so, I felt a kind of love from that man.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was torn away. Very.
Sometimes you wonder what is the abuse, because
So there was
that reaction
my
came
parents
from a
were
lot of
very
fear. But
scared. Oh, it could be that the man who abused him.
so in a way, that fear was more damaging. It seems like you got confused.
Yeah, for me that was damaging because I was feeling, I'm treated well. I got ice cream. So that's so stupid.
Yeah.
And then the whole dream was gone by they literally the photo.
There might have been a more gentle way of,
Yeah.
for them to help you out.
Yeah, it was a strange situation, but
Confusing, huh?
and now I can laugh about it.
What did you say?
I can laugh about it now.
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe there is another feeling there too about it.
Yeah, the feeling about is that you're not good enough and that you're not worthy. It's not good. And then you somehow close off a little bit for getting love.
Thank you for bringing it out.
We can just take a couple breaths right here.
Even if you want to close your eyes, Christian, we could, if you want to.
And as you breathe, you could just be present with any thoughts or feelings that are connected to this. You even feel how your body feels a little. Notice if there's tension somewhere. You don't necessarily have to understand it. You don't have to make sense of it, but you can just feel whatever is showing up here. Again, you don't need to have a story around it. You can just be with what's in the present moment. And if feelings are connected to thoughts or memories about something from the past, you can allow that to come up as well. Allowing that to just move in you and through you as it wants to. Yeah. How was that, Christian?
I feel okay with it. It happened and it's past.
And how do you just feel right in this moment?
I don't know. Don't feel much.
Well, that's okay too.
Yeah, quite neutral.
Do you have any questions?
About this?
Maybe, or about something else, perhaps.
Not for now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes in the journey it's someone else's fear is imposed on us. So even as children, this can happen, you know. It was your parents' fear, it wasn't really your fear there.
Yeah, my mother is always really anxious. And also, since my father has died, and it's also today, now it's new things coming up, but after he died, I needed to be aware that I was not the replacement of my father, you know, because I take over some things, you know, like the administration, but also some practical stuff. Then in the family there were sometimes comments, because very soon after the funeral I felt I need to go traveling, you know. But in my family there was a verdict about it. Yeah, you cannot leave your mother alone, and whoa. But I said also to my mother, I said, yes, but we cannot go living in fear now because he's not there anymore, that I cannot travel or something, you know. So I just booked a plane. I just went. Otherwise, it would be a problem. So it was for me a very difficult period, because I was also in grief, and I need to, because I learned already some lessons, I needed to also support my mother, but on another
plane,
so
not
like,
in a personal.
So I cannot be there always for her. So,
so it was a little bit the same coming here. When we had that call, you were sharing that it was a family event planned.
Yeah, today it is.
Today.
Yeah, and I'm not there, and so I'm breaking the rules. I said, I said also, because I was also not so happy to me, but also in the organization, I said, sorry, but this time I cannot go there. I need space for myself now. And I said, I'm not reachable now for 5 days. So I just switched it off. I don't know what happened. So in case of emergency, you can call my mother.
That's beautiful, yeah.
So my mother, but she's now really trusting me, because she says, no, I need that you need to go. Because I said to her, I need to go to the south of Spain. Oh, okay. Why then? She said, I said, I need some space. I need to do it. I don't know why. She says, okay, I think it's good. So I'm very glad that in the end it's, when you listen to your heart and you take that decision, in the end it will be all right.
Yeah, sometimes they reflect back, but it's okay. And sometimes they don't, but it's still okay.
Yeah, you lose some friends, because they want to stay you in the old pattern. Like also in early days we were playing in a band and we're drinking a lot, you know. It's very distracting, very escape.
It's the ultimate distraction, isn't it?
I see this meme in my mind that I saw once. It's a caterpillar and a butterfly having dinner together, and then the caterpillar says to the butterfly, like, you changed.
Yeah.
And the butterfly is like, we're supposed to.
Yeah, really. I was once with a guy, we were in the city, he said, so no beer anymore. What? Are you ill? So completely, somehow, also big lessons.
Yeah, it's the call to be free. That you're following the call to be truly free, you know.
But I think at some level, you know, when you were telling that story about your parents, when you were leaving Sweden and they came to you as light beings and they said, we are grateful you go. I think that at some level, like, you know, people who are really close to you, they feel it. You know, I had an exchange with Jane, who I'm sharing a flat with, that, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but maybe I will stay here a little bit longer. And she's petrified of staying on her own, because there is this awkward dependency relationship going on there. And yet she said, that's fine, I will pay the bill so you can release the funds to pay for being here. And it was like, oh wow. So, you know, even though she doesn't want me to go and she wants to continue living with me, you know, she wants for us to stay in this pattern because it's safe. at some level she's also kind of seeing there is something deeper going on here, and she wants to support it. And I was just really struck by it. You know, that it's
it's beautiful. I'm gonna take a picture of the two. It looks so sweet. Oh, that's very beautiful. Go for a whole group picture.
I have a nice case too.
Yes.
Phone case.
Came in Sweden.
Perhaps I've got one other question then. What does the Course telling about handling the situation that you are in, the old part, you know, your old surroundings, your old family, kind of friends, and also part of the job, but then you are in a certain situation to a new life, because I'm in the middle. But how can you handle the relationships? Because I see also, they see that I'm changed, but they don't really want to lose me, you know what I mean? So I
but that's
I try to adapt a little bit, you know, like, okay, we can have one beer, for instance, you know, and then, so
So there's still the kind guy, the one part of you that wants to be kind and have a personal connection.
So I'm somehow a little bit adept then, but on the other hand, I want a different kind, and I want to be really free.
Yeah, the Course says, give them over. Give all your relationships over to me, Spirit says. That's what the Course literally says.
Yeah, because otherwise I have experienced that it's conditional relationships. Because only, if you do that, then it's okay, and otherwise...
But what you need to do, what you can do, is to see what the fear is in you. Because if you do it for them, there's still some fear in you that makes you do that. But you're maybe a little afraid to break this pattern or break these relationships, you know.
Yeah, some are not broken from themselves, but sometimes,
Yeah, because it is very natural to move on. That's also something the Course says, change is always helpful. Change is always helpful, so to allow those changes, you know, and there can be many on the spiritual path, I mean, on this path, as you know. There's so many changes, but they're always helpful, because you expand. Your mind will expand.
Yeah, the people cannot follow me sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. And you can't play the role. You will feel less inclined and less comfortable to play the role of Christian, the nice friend, you know. It will be more and more, it will be impossible in the end. So.
Yeah.
I left, I have this memory of the last time I met my friends that I got to know in university, in the psychology program. There were two women. We were really close. It was a really nice friendship between the three of us. They invited me for an evening dinner in one of their apartments, and I was there. For 10 minutes, and I just said to them, "Sorry, but I just cannot do this anymore." You know, we were like close friends, but I left the party. I couldn't. I felt as if I was, I was in a situation that was very unreal or very strange. I couldn't talk about the topics they want to talk about, which chocolate they liked the most, or whatever it was.
Which diaper brand?
Yeah. The meaninglessness was so obvious, and it was also obvious they were not on the same wavelength as me. They didn't want to talk about A Course in Miracles. They didn't want, which was all there was for me, at that time. Everything was about the awakening and the healing in my mind. So I say goodbye, and then I felt a bit lonely. I felt a bit scared, like, Spirit, what is now? What, I'm getting rid of all my friends. I'm getting rid of my family. Okay, what is next? And that was a little scary, but the steps came very clear when I cleared what I could. If someone was ringing my doorbell, if I didn't feel to open the door, I didn't.
Yeah.
If my mom called, if I didn't feel to answer the call, I didn't. That one. And if they invited me for dinner, if I didn't feel like I could relate to go there and be Jenny, the one that they think I am, I didn't. And that was profound. It was fearful because they got upset, and angry, but I thought, okay, they can handle their feelings. I need to follow my heart. And that was very, very strong. Very strong. And from that, see how many friends I have all around the globe, and how beautiful life became, So, yeah, it's definitely worth it when you come to this feeling, this point of just...
Point of no return.
Yes, it is like that. In a good way.
This is really so difficult for me because there's this strong belief that I need to be nice, I can hurt people, I should be lovely, and there's this idea we were talking about form, how kindness should be in form, like, hey, okay, and yeah, to be in touch with my heart, like what I'm feeling, or should I answer now, or what should I say, and it should automatic, like I feel guilt if I listen to my heart, like if I give myself space to, should I answer or should I? It's always like, no, be nice, be open heart. Like I think I know what does that mean to be nice, and I see the reflect people just saying to me, oh, but you are so nice, you are the one who, who embrace, and then yeah.
And sometimes you need to take your time, Sometimes you don't know immediately when you receive a message, should I answer or not? And you may not know for some time. That's how I pray about it. I lay it aside and I ask Holy Spirit, do you want me to answer this? And sometimes it's a no. And if you feel uncomfortable then you have a little self-concept there. You are the nice, friendly one who always should be available. There could be a self-concept there that you are called to release.
Yeah, today I was really sad because I can see this belief in my mind, like I have no professional, I have not a specific skill to offer. Yeah, it's just something that is here now, and especially when we are going through some. We need money. It would be nice to have more money to do this, and I feel really guilt because, and I see trying to figure out how can I do this in a way, and when I can offer something really that I believe in. I just believe in healing. I really believe in A Course in Miracles, and sometimes I try to adjust in the work, like how can I use this to have money to help, and I was really sad, and I was praying, and this word just came through my mouth, like your function is just to be happy, and I felt like it helped me to to embrace this, to take it in, because even I was really clear. I see the resistance to, oh my God, my function is just to be happy. It's the only function that God gave to me, but there is still this, no, I should do this. How can I be loved if in this world everything is about what you do? It's just, this is my belief. Like, you are, if someone gives something to you, it's because, or you did something right, or you deserve this because you have done something okay. You're not. It seems like there is. I gave it to you. Why? Oh, just because I feel it. It has nothing to do with you, actually. It's just...
And I think this example of how you found a place to stay overnight in London, that's an example. You didn't do something. You didn't give them something that allowed you to receive. You just received because you were the love. You guys were sharing your love. You guys were in the present moment. And just spontaneously from this woman's heart, she said, come to my place. And I'll get up at 3:30 and drive you to the airport. That just, it shows you it doesn't work the way that you've been believing. That's not, maybe that's how the world works, but you don't have to believe in that anymore.
Yeah. Because you guys had that belief that everything costs money too. And that moment it was like, no, freely given, For what? For the love.
Yeah.
Not for being highly educated or something.
Yeah.
And that's nice. If someone asks, what do you do? What is your job? What is your profession? To be happy.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice to say?
Always holiday.
She's pretty good at it.
Yeah. I know. It's a heart's calling. It's a life's calling.
It was quite hard to accept the gift from this woman. I could see I was trying to please her. How can I give something back? It's like, and then I was just praying, Jesus, help me just to.
Yeah. And to see that it's a gift from the Spirit, that can help you in that situation, because it's such a strong belief in reciprocity.
Yeah.
You should return the gift, But when Spirit gives you what you need, it can come in that way. Someone offers you something. It's like, thank you, dear woman, thank you, Holy Spirit, Because you are the gift. You come with your open heart and your joy and your presence and your sweetness, and the two of you come, it's a gift. I think maybe she felt something. She wanted to connect with you.
One question I have, how do we deal with the, let's say, Jesus is telling everybody is a brother, and if you see one other brother, you see everybody as a brother. And when we then, like you told, say, okay, with these people I don't want to have the relationship, but although he's our brother, sometimes I have difficulties to how to manage this, because everybody is a brother for us, independent what he's doing and what his life is. And then don't we do a separation when we say I cut this relationship?
Yeah.
This is something sometimes I have a problem to
well, it's specialness, it's special relationship that are, and you feel, how can they be my brother?
Yes. How can they be my brother?
And they aren't. It's, you don't. It's only from the healed perspective that you will know everyone is your brother. You will have forgiven the other parts.
Okay.
So you don't have to put pressure on you to try, because the Christ is not in persons. Christ is not in people.
Yeah, that's true. It's the behind. You look behind. You look
Yeah.
not at the identity of the person. You look not of the personality. You look behind, and then you can see the brother, because then you can see the love. Maybe when you sometimes look in the eyes, you can see more than the personal identity.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And Jesus says it's your brother's mind. You can see that it's not this form, this person.
That's form.
It's the mind that is your brother. He says this: think rather of him as a mind in which illusions still persist, but as a mind which brother is to you.
Mm-hmm.
He is not brother made by what he dreams, nor is his body, hero of the dream, your brother. It is his reality that is your brother, as is yours to him. Your mind and his are joined in brotherhood, his body and his dreams, but seem to make a little gap where yours have joined with his, where your dreams have joined. So it's not brother, it's the opposite of brother. Those people you can't relate to. It's the dreams that have joined in a weird way. This is why we had, I had with my family the abusive relationships. That I can't call that brother. But when I saw my parents' higher selves, that's my brother. That's that's the light. That's the mind behind.
That's really helpful. I don't think I've ever heard that explained in this way before.
I think it's another level of to see.
Yeah, because it's still a lot of guilt, and I think maybe this sometimes is misunderstood by course students, and they call everyone a brother, but they don't always feel it is a brother. They feel a lot of other things, and then there is guilt coming more guilt in because they can't see them as a brother.
And even in those situations that you were describing, when you go to a dinner or whatever, you are joining with friends, and it's just like, I don't relate at all to what is being said there. There's just nothing. There's just nothing that I feel joined, and then there is the sense of guilt. How can I not? How can I have this desire to separate? So there is all this confusion about the terms, I think. How can I have this desire to separate, because it just feels like there is nothing happening there in terms of connection.
And in that case, it's actually not separation, it's just guidance.
Okay.
You're just feeling guided in a new direction. So you're actually choosing to not separate from the Christ by moving in a new direction, by following the inspiration.
So it has nothing to do with my judgment. Like it's not because I'm judging, so I'm judging my brothers. It has nothing to do with this.
Well, the whole world is a judgment, and your first call is to tend to your mind. The analogy again of when you're on the airplane, they say put your mask on first before you can help someone else, and it's the same with awakening. You have to tend to your mind first, and you're not guilty for judging. You're not even guilty for judging, because your judgment is false, and the whole process is about healing this, and it's not about judging and then feeling bad for it and then try to fix it in form and try to,
It's the same like you said, she said, you. Es ist für mich immer noch schwierig, diese Schuld rauszukriegen, wenn ich das spüre, was sie alle erzählt haben, was sie drin haben. Dann habe ich wenn ich reflektiere auf meine Freunde, habe ich eigentlich, müsste ich alle weghaken und nur die neuen nehmen.
Yeah, the same what we are talking about, all the comments. And when she looked at her friends in the past, she should cut everything.
You should what?
Cut.
Yes.
Not to get out of the relation, to get out of to do a cut, to say okay.
Aber das
and she feels guilty by doing this. This is the
same,
point.
like,
She feels guilty by doing this. Okay, why should I cut it, end it?
And that's the question you don't need to ask. So when you're on this path and feeling this call, don't really ask Spirit why. Because the why comes from doubt, and you won't get an answer.
Von den Zweifeln des Egos.
But only when you follow it, you will see why. You will experience. Your mind will get free. Yeah. Because again, it's arrogance to stick to it. It's Jesus says that you're arrogant when you think you need to tend to all the relationships. When you think you're responsible, it's
their responsibility.
It's their responsibility, and also you take God's place. You need to give them over to God to handle them.
Ich gebe alles.
Yeah, give them all up. Alles.
It was nice you put everything behind. The garbage. That's good. And this is what I think I understand and I learned. It's not to put a glass on it and that's this I put and this I put and this I put. Okay, this I keep. I think you should put everything.
Yeah, that's
like you said, like you did this. When your image, it was really good to see because it's everything.
Yeah.
It's not this little thing, and the other I keep it. You cannot. It's not possible.
Put everything on the altar, and if Spirit wants you to keep something or something is helpful, they will be given back. They will come back. No doubt.
Yeah.
So.
Warum ist das so? Why is it so?
Why is it so difficult, you say, to do it or to take the help?
And that's the key, is to just keep giving it over, because it does get easier as we go. And the message is to do it with everything. Jesus talks about that in the beginning of the workbook. He says, it's the universal application of these ideas that will bring you the peace that you want.
And not just all the relationships, every moment. You give over. Every moment you need to give over. Every thought you need to give over. Give it over. If it's a helpful thought, it will remain. But a lot of thoughts are unhelpful. So just give them over. You have something fun to share?
Yeah.
And he is showing me to accept everything like it is, and that's a gift for me. That total acceptance, to accept the unacceptable. That's showing me.
So maybe he's staying here.
Yeah.
I do not
understand. If he's going to teach you to accept the unacceptable, perhaps he's staying here. This is an inspired thought.
When I arrived, I thought he belongs to the house. I thought the dog belongs to the house when I arrived here.
Please stop it.
It's interesting because I said I could have him, and you didn't even hear me saying it, did you?
Yeah, it was feeling, he's feeling comfortable.
He's finding his cool spot.
You heard it, yeah.
Okay.
And even this, he's already moving.
He's already moving.
That's a challenge.
I know that, James, but
that's a challenge.
you heard what you said.
Yes.
He's teaching you to accept the unacceptable.
It's coming back.
I will survive.
Be careful what you ask for, because you will get it.
Yeah.
That's how powerful the prayers are.
Yes.
Yeah.
He walks away tomorrow. So no.
Yeah, think about it.
Yes.
So I think we will take a break, and we are going to have lunch at 12:15, which is in about half an hour. You heard the turkey.
Okay.
But yeah, we can. So again, we're not really here to talk about people sharing after the session. We'll keep it in the session. Yeah.
Yeah, you can use this time again just to be present and go for a walk or just sit and pray and be in your heart.
Stillness is great.
Yeah, take some time in prayer just to be